Yes, guys. I'm trying a new intro. Welcome to another episode of the Bootcast podcast. I'm your host, Justin, and my fellow co-host, Colby. As always, Colby, my friend, how are you doing this week?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. Got 8 hours of sleep last night. It's the first time I've gotten 8 hours of sleep, and I can't even remember how long.
Oh, dude, that sounds so... My littlest one is sick right now, so I've gotten no sleep for like 3 days, so it's been rough.
Yeah,
but that's
that
life.
That's my life.
All right, dude. So, to start off this episode, Jurgen Klopp announced that he's leaving Liverpool today. We're recording on Friday, the January 26th.
26th, yeah.
Yeah, so he announced this morning. How do you feel? What's going through your head? Because you're a big Liverpool boy.
Yeah, I'm a big Liverpool boy, and it's a big deal, right? Because Jurgen Klopp has essentially brought the club back into the ranks of like the top clubs.
Yeah.
Because like for my personal history, I became a fan of Liverpool around like 2010, 2011, and that was when we were going through like a real rough patch, right? Mm-hmm. Roy Hodgson was the manager. We were getting in new owners, so like FSG was just coming in. They were trying like some of their so Roy Hodgson didn't last long. They brought in Kenny Dalglish, and they were trying some of their Moneyball stuff, dude. That was like when we got Stuart Downing and freaking Charlie Adam and
was that when you got Suarez?
I think Suarez and Carroll came in the same transfer window because we had sold Torres, and I think we already had Suarez, but they were like, we got to get somebody else because that was like when we sold Torres for $50 million. It was like the biggest record transfer, and he wasn't doing very good that season. He did really good against Chelsea.
Yeah, that's what everybody said. Like it was only like his first 18 months that he actually did good at Liverpool.
Yeah, because he had like hamstring problems, and then he went off to the 2010 World Cup. Mm-hmm. And had blown his hamstring in that very last game. He was running through the ball, and nobody really noticed because Spain had already won. But so he was coming back with that, and he was just not the same player, dude.
Yeah.
So
did you watch his documentary?
A little bit, yeah.
It's really good, but he talks about that, and he basically just said, like, I had to do it for my country. Like, I couldn't pass up the chance to do it for my country.
Well, he did really well in the sorry, I didn't really go off on a tangent on the Boot podcast, but he did really well in the 2008 Euros. Mm-hmm. And so, and so it was like 2010 World Cup. And then, so like that Spain team was incredible, though. That was basically like a mix of like Barca, Madrid, and then like Torres up top. But just like one of the best squads of all time.
It's crazy, though, because I know y'all got like 50 mil for him. And I think you spent 40 mil on Andy Carroll and then 10 mil on Suarez.
I think it was like something like that. Yeah, it was like 35 mil on Carroll. That was bad. And you know what though? Andy Carroll's headers, bro. And he had a rocket of a left foot.
Dude, don't even try to justify Andy Carroll.
Yeah. Well,
but okay, rope it back in.
Okay,
Klopp.
sorry.
How you feel about Klopp? No, it's okay.
So basically, what I'm getting at here, right, is that it wasn't always like sunshine and rainbows, dude. It's been like I had been with the club when they were like in a terrible position, when we were like finishing like 7th, 8th. So if Klopp goes. Right, and we start to kind of turn into a little bit of like what happened in Manchester United after Sir Alex Ferguson left, and Moyes came in, and you guys started making transfers like Fellaini, and you're like, what the heck is going on? So I'm fully prepared for that, mentally prepared for that, because what I'm getting at is I've been there before, right? Okay. So the club's been in, it hasn't, for people that have just come on in the last like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, like it hasn't. We had a rough patch, and I have a feeling we'll go through that again. But mentally, I'm like, dude, I was there. So
yeah. You witnessed greatness. I mean, arguably, Manchester City and Liverpool, like two of the like peak pinnacle teams, and it's crazy like what Klopp has done with honestly the budget. I mean, he has spent money. Let's not pretend he hasn't. But compared to what us at United or City has spent,
we did spend money, but we sold to get that money. It's actually Barcelona actually funded our title-winning team, like the sell of Coutinho and Virgil van Dijk and Alisson. Like that's basically what allowed like our club owners, who are not cheap, but they're not going to go splash tons of like Abramovich cash or anything like that. But yeah, so I'm fully prepared. Like I'm mentally prepared to be like, okay, he's going to go. I'm hoping we get Alonso from Leverkusen. That seems to be like one of the top names right now.
Yeah.
I've heard Julian Nagelsmann as well. I think I'd rather have Alonso.
Of course.
Yeah. So
he's got that affiliation with the club being,
Right.
essentially a club legend in his own right.
One of the best midfielders we've ever had. Yeah.
Do you still want Stevie G?
He had a bad time at Villa.
Bro, he's terrible in Saudi.
But he won the Scots Premiership with Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
So like 3 years ago, before he got over to Villa. So let Stevie G get a little bit more experience. But Alonso's been doing pretty good. So whatever he's doing seems to be working. Let's take that formula over to Liverpool next year, and hopefully we'll still attract top players.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome. Like, as a Man United fan, I will never acknowledge anything good about Liverpool. I physically cannot do it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, he has been one of the top managers, especially since Fergie retired, and I respect him for what he's done. So it is sad, but like, it is really cool to watch him kind of ride off into the sunset in the way he wants. You know? He's not getting fired; he's leaving.
Yeah. Usually, it doesn't happen that way. It only happens with various, like a Wenger or Sir Alex Ferguson. You know, it doesn't.
Very few. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's rub it back in. So today we're going to talk about boots that we've gotten in. I've gotten in a lot of boots this week. You've gotten in some new boots.
Yeah,
and then we're gonna play hot takes later. So start out. Talk to me about your turfs. I want to hear about these Pumas because you've been.
Dude, I'm excited.
You've been on the hunt for some good turf models. So talk to me about them.
This is an impulse buy, actually. So this is the Future Ultimate. What is it? Pro Cage turf, and this actually I believe is the same upper as the top model. If you're out there and like you've had a pair of these and you've compared them and like it's not quite to that level, but I don't have my Future Ultimates anymore. I had the blue and orange pair.
Mm-hmm.
But this is pretty dang close. And like you can actually feel the power tape. The laces are like top quality. Put them on. They're super comfy, super thin, good touch on the ball. The lockdown is excellent. So I'm very impressed. I mean, I know this is like a last gen model now because this is, they've moved since then.
It's like 2 weeks old.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks old, which makes it super old in the boot world. But like they've obviously like moved the power tape here now on the top model. I'm sure the fit is about the same, but I know that I don't like the idea that on the new model they've decreased the amount of lace holes. Mm-hmm. So maybe I just in my brain I'm like that's going to affect lockdown. So I decided to go with what I know. And I know these, and I'm very excited, dude. I'm very excited to play in these. I might play on Sunday, actually, indoor.
No, that's hype. I know. So, for starters, I'm assuming you will not go laceless in those.
Absolutely not.
Okay, cool. Compared, I know it's been a while since you've had the FG Puma Future Ultimates. In terms of like on feet, studs part aside, how do they feel on feet? Do they feel almost one-to-one from what you remember? Can you tell any differences?
I would say like in the heel, like the heel depth isn't quite as much. I do so they give you like a good amount of knit, especially here in like the back, but that doesn't really keep your foot in place. Like you're really looking at like this plastic-ish part right here.
Okay.
But there's still no slippage, and like you put grip socks in this thing, dude, your foot's not moving, and that's exactly what I want. Especially in indoor, like I was playing a match 2 weeks ago, and a guy was wearing, I think he was wearing Nike Mercurials, and his shoe came off. And I was like, dude, how does your shoe come off? It was like after he took a shot, and I was like, what are you doing? So, yeah,
nice,
good boot.
Yeah, that's super hype. I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of their colorways, but that white and pink one, I think it did well. It's a good looking colorway. So as far as wearing those all the time, that's a good choice for sure.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit? Okay, so I got a few things in this week. I got some Adidas Strungs in.
Mm-hmm.
I literally just got them in yesterday. They feel weird. That's the best way I can put this boot. Like, I need to kick around in it and test it, but I don't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about as far as I can get along with that boot right now. I do agree. Our friend Andrew at Footloose Boots said that the lockdown in it is not the best, and you really have to kind of tighten the laces to get your heel locked in. Massively agree. It's just a weird feeling boot on foot. And compared to my I have the Speed Portal Pluses, and they feel like night and day difference. So I don't have the Crazy Fast Plus yet, but the Strung, it's an interesting boot. I think, again, like I told you last week on the podcast, I think that it's more of a concept boot than anything, but we'll see. I got in another pair of Pulses just because I want to have one for my collection, one to wear. So nothing too new or fancy there. I did get. Oh, you'll like this one. I got your recommendation.
Yes,
I got a pair of New Balance Tequila V4 lows. I did the
Finally.
Harvey Elliott pair because even though he's a Liverpool player, the red, dude, the red looks, and this is red. Like it's not like the Predator Elites where it's like, oh, is it orange? Is it red? No, this is red.
Yeah,
and
you got those because you wanted to support Liverpool, right?
Yeah,
young,
I did.
upcoming
like
Liverpool talent.
Rip Klopp, and rip your future club ever winning anything again. But no, I really like it. I put them on feet, and dude, out of the box, this is legitimately the most comfortable boot straight out of the box. Like the upper is hot butter. It just moves, it molds, it's soft. The lacing system, it reminds me of the Adidas X 18 and 19.1s, where it's like kind of shallow, the little lip collar. But I will say the one gripe I have about this boot so far is there's not enough lace holes. The lacing is shallow, so I feel like I can't get them as tight as I would like.
Yeah,
and
which for you that must really be a problem.
Which is weird because I like my Preds loose. It's just weird. It's just maybe it's just because I'm not used to it. But the other thing I don't like this little lip thing. I don't know what this is, but mine always ends up like just kind of laying flat like that, and that's like so first world problems. But it annoys me.
Yeah. Did you have to go half a size up in those?
I did. So I went. I know you told me to check out half a size before I pulled the trigger. I tried on the V4 Plus, the new one, and an 8 was just too small. It was it was too small. So I went up half a size. I would highly recommend going up half a size if you buy these. If you want your foot to breathe. If you literally are like Noah and you want your toes like too crunched, you might like it, but even Noah went up half a size.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these ones I'm hyped about, man. They're different, but I'm excited to try these for sure.
Yeah.
And then the last boot. Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, like, because I know that you've tried on both. I have not tried on the Plus model yet. What's the biggest difference that you've noticed between those two boots, the Plus and the regular Pro?
Nothing.
Okay.
I've only tried both of them on. I didn't get to kick around with them or anything. But as far as I could tell, I will say maybe the Plus might be a little bit tighter, even more tighter.
Okay.
So, yeah. But again, I tried a size 8, and that's how I knew they were too small. But the upper, I couldn't tell any a softer. Yeah, I'm a regular guy. I'm not like J Mike or Josh, where I know the ins and outs.
Yeah.
I can feel them. I can play with them. I can't tell any difference. The sole plate was the exact same. The lacing's the exact same.
Yeah.
The
main
I'm assuming
thing was the fuel cell is just an insert. I'm assuming on the new.
Oh, I was I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it. Well, they have like fuel cell shoes. New Balance does. So it must be something to do with.
It's probably something in the insole or something. And then this was different. The little ribs.
Oh yeah, they've added
on this
more.
One, it looks like ribs. They're like weird lines, like almost like they look kind of like they remind me of Morse code, like dot, long, dot. Like that was it. Other than that, it really is like a facelift, I'll say.
Yeah,
to me,
which is fine. Great boot. Yeah, great boot. Just give it like a little.
The boot's great. Like if it's not broken, don't fix
it. Something. Yeah.
And then the other boot I got in, which I think we need to talk about,
is the one I don't have right now.
These. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I got these based on your recommendation. I love the GX1s. So I went with the low cut instead of the Luna. I went with the GX2, but I did go FG.
Yeah.
So for starters, I'll just get this out of the bag. This midfoot is way stiffer. So this is not bending. Like I know everybody is freaking out on the launch colorway. Whatever they did, this is back to Luna styles. So this thing is firm. It ain't bending. But I don't love this boot yet, man. I put it on feet. I have a weird gap like here.
Yeah.
Like under my, what is that, the ball of my ankle on the side?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and where it kind of pooches out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for starters, I noticed that immediately and it annoyed me. I went and put on a pair of GXs. The GX lows also have it, but not nearly as bad.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing is like, it flares hard. So
see, I don't feel like I remember that. I mean, I have mine coming in this week.
Mm-hmm.
I returned the, what was it, like the turquoise pair?
Yeah, the Vortex.
Yeah, the Vortex. So, because I wanted this colorway. This is the one I wanted.
Does.
So I'm really hoping that. I mean, I know like you're gonna probably replace that with the Luna style, but I'm hoping that it might just be a defect on your particular model.
It might be. But I've talked to a few people, and some people have it, and some don't. So I really think that this boot, and okay, honestly, we're just gonna get into this real quick. These two boots are completely dependent on your foot. If your foot is narrower, 100% these. If your foot is wider, 100% these. And I think that the problem with this boot for me is I think my foot is just too narrow for it. I don't think I have a big enough foot to fill this boot out the way it needs.
That makes sense. Because I loved it. I loved it because of the accommodating width, dude. So
yeah. I mean, other than that, it feels great. I did have another little issue where I have this weird bulge. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you post on Instagram.
Yeah, dude, it's just like a weird little growth. I call it like a wart. I think it's just some extra material that's kind of bunched up during the process. So I'm trying not to hold it against them. Colorway is phenomenal. These boots look so good.
It looks incredible, yeah.
I freaking love them, dude. And I love like the waxy grip knit and the raised ridges. Like this boot, I told you before when we saw the concept and we talked about it for release. This boot to me definitely is GX meets GT and GT2.
Yeah.
More than the Luna. The sole plate I think is Luna for sure. But other than that, it's more GT and GX than anything.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you feel like that holding them out of the box. It sucks that you have like those little, well, hopefully defects. It could be foot shape size. So we'll know for sure. I get my AG pair in. This is something I kind of want to bring up, and I'm not sure if other people have this issue, but we're both out of Texas, and I ordered a lot of my boots off of soccer.com, and I'm pulling the shop app up right here. But what the heck? Why do my boots have to go from freaking North Carolina all the way through Indiana, through Illinois, to come back south to Texas? If there's anybody that works for soccer.com or knows the process, the post office, like explain to me why my boots have to go way the heck up north to come way down. I'm sure it's some kind of like technicality in terms of like how they like distribution, like going here to ship south. I don't exactly know what that process is. But, dude, I swear, it takes so much longer. Because I ordered, these came from California, and it took way less time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it has to do something, like you said, with transit. Because, like, have you ever been on a flight where, like, let's say, for example, like, you're going to go from, Texas to California. And it'll, like, randomly be like, okay, you'll go Texas, New Mexico, then you're going to go to Delaware, and then you'll go to California. Like, there's always weird, like, so I don't know random. What it is, but they do weird stuff.
This is the flight path we have to take.
Yeah, like I know, it has to.
Like, Jesus. Yeah.
Like, somebody out there who understands this, I'm sure could, like, logically explain this to us. But as two regular dads, this is the dumbest thing. I don't understand it either.
For sure.
I don't get it. So I'm sorry that you don't have yours.
That's okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, I am excited to try them out. Part of me wants to return them for the Luna, but then also part of me just really wants to try it out. Maybe I'm just being a big baby.
Well, I do kind of want you to return them and get the Luna because I want to see if those defects are still there. Because if you still if you return for the Luna, obviously like the knit's going to be higher, so it's gonna collapse in your ankle more. But if you still have like weird things like little bulges or like other stuff going on, then hopefully this boot doesn't have like because I know we've talked about the cracked sole plate pictures. Not 100% confirmed if those are like fake or legit or just on that particular like first model, but hopefully this is a boot that isn't having like issues with each colorway release.
Yeah, I definitely hope so too. And I've talked to a couple of other people, and some people have not had issues. Other people have had other issues on other boots. Like I had a guy that reached out and was like, "Yo, look at my Mercs," and his Mercs had the same thing. So I think the main worry is like, even though the little wart is kind of an eyesore, with how it sticks out and how the sole plate is on it, I'm worried that will lead to fast sole separation. because it randomly, it's so weird, dude. It's not, I don't have a deformed foot. One of the guys, Mike, messaged me and he was like, "Oh, your pinky toe messed it up." It's like, no, you jerk. It's just a weird boot. But I mean, other than that, like, it has its quirks, and I think if you're a wider foot, I think that you will love this boot. So yeah, so I got to figure out if I really want to get the Luna or if I want to deal, or we'll see. This is TBD, but I will let you know if I get to try them out, how I feel about them.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so today was kind of a special day. On the last podcast, I showed you Julio. I bought him those Predator Elite with the regular tongues, right? Okay, so today I went to a different shop, and I found the tongue version.
That looks so good.
Dude, it's
the
so
tongue makes
nice.
It look so much better.
The tongue is different. I'm a big fan of the sole plate. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like iridescent or pearlescent.
Yeah,
I don't know what the word is. But from what I can tell, it's not, besides the color of the sole plate, it's not any different than the other Elite model that I got Julio. But compared to my orange ones, there are a few little subtle differences. The tongue, I feel like on these is a bit softer, like it's more malleable, and I feel like it's a bit thinner. So I feel like overall the material is a little bit thinner. There's that, and then super small on this pair. On the outside of the straps, it says Predator, and then on the inside of the strap, it says Generation Pred. On my orange and black pair, it just says Predator in the center, and then it has an Adidas logo. So nothing huge. That so far from everything I've messed with, looked, held, everything, those are the only differences. The synthetic is still different. It's not the microfiber. It's still that semi, not slick, but slick feeling synthetic. But the stripes are the exact same. Everything else is the exact same. So it was really cool find. A lot of people have blown me up. A lot of people have shouted me out on Instagram. So that's been fun. But for anybody who has questions, it's the same exact boot.
Yeah.
And I keep telling everybody that over and over. It's literally the same boot. Same price. And according to the box, this is not limited edition. This is not a teaser boot. This is going to be a general release. So yeah, I just wanted to show off this cool boot.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the aesthetics, dude, because you had the one last time, and I was like, that looks pretty good. But you slapped that tongue on it, dude, and I don't know why. It just looks so much better. Especially in that white colorway. Yeah, dude. The white and the silver, it's a nasty combo. Oh wait, is that another difference? Hold on.
Okay. Nah, it's the same thing. Never mind. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I got excited.
False alarm, everybody.
I got too excited, guys. I'm sorry.
Calm down.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a cool boot. It's cool to find stuff like this in the wild. But yeah, same price. Everything's the exact same. So it's been fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we start hot takes, I need to ask you a question. Who is your favorite number 7 of all time?
This is a trick question.
It's not a trick question.
Okay.
There's a few answers that are acceptable. There's mainly one answer.
Oh, dude.
But it's also kind of a given, so it's kind of a cop-out.
It's got to be a given. Cristiano, dude. Of course. That's the only number 7. Unless you're about to say Beckham, dude.
Actually, there's actually somebody who I hold as a number 7 over Beckham. Beckham's number 7 for me.
Okay.
But for me, the one guy who I'm like, oh yeah, easily, Cantona.
Oh, that's a good one.
Have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen this? Let me see.
Ooh.
I got a CR7 tattoo.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cringe. I have another man's logo / initials on me, but when I say I'm a Ronaldo fanboy to a lot of people, I don't think people understand that I'm a Ronaldo fanboy.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, like the longevity, the brand, the goals, the moves,
the looks,
the everything, dude. I mean, dude. What that guy has done for world football in the last 20 years has been phenomenal. Like he's just like he's as big as you can get as an athlete. Like,
yeah,
we're talking
for sure.
like Like, who's bigger than him in the like athlete world? Like maybe LeBron James,
No.
maybe Tiger Woods.
I would say Tiger Woods is a good shout. I would say honestly the only person who I would probably put in the same ballpark as Ronaldo is probably Michael Jordan.
Yo, that's a good one too.
Like,
yeah,
especially marketability.
Yeah,
but I think Ronaldo might, or even Bex. Honestly, Bex is pretty.
Yeah, he's pretty iconic. He's
pretty freaking marketable, and if you watch the documentary, you see that people really
Bex,
capitalize.
The funny thing is, like, Bex and was it the other like Galacticos? Like, Beckham was like the first like player brand, and I feel like he kind of paved the way for Ronaldo to be what he is today. And Ronaldo kind of took like that baseline. And just because of like the era we're in and like that kind of newly developing social media world, like he just took off.
Yeah.
But what's funny is like, dude, he was just an amazing player. Like on like Manchester United, from like 03 to like 09 and then Real Madrid, like just a phenomenal player. And now that he's in Saudi, like people still keep up with like that league because of him.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I think Bex walked so Ronaldo could run for sure. And I think it also helped that Ronaldo was growing and peaking during the boom of the internet. Not even just social media, but the internet as a whole. But, I mean, yeah, I didn't even honestly know there was a Saudi league before Ronaldo went over there.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of other players that have gone over there for right or wrong. You know, that's a different debate for a different time. But he's the only one who seems to be doing well, from what I can tell, also.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. The dude's a freak. He's arguably he's my second GOAT of all time. Like I always say, he's the GOAT, but I always hold one player above him. But it's not Messi. But yeah, I'm a fanboy, and I have no problem admitting that.
Yeah. Really quickly, just to get my Liverpool shout here. Luis Suarez, dude, was number 7 at Liverpool. Just phenomenal. That guy could create things out of nothing.
That last season he had is arguably one of the best striker seasons I've ever seen.
You're talking about 13-14 when Sturridge came in January?
Post him getting the ban for biting.
Yes, dude.
Was it the
Ibrahimovic at Chelsea?
No.
Oh, you're talking about
He didn't play for Chelsea.
Oh, who are you talking about? Oh, Ivanovic, excuse me.
Ivanovic, yeah.
Ivanovic,
is that the one? Is that the one where you got like what was it? 7-match ban? Or was that
something
the World
like
Cup
that?
one?
And you know what? I don't even know if he served that one. There was one that was
did.
like a weird, like so.
I think he had one in Barcelona.
He had one at Ajax, and then he had a bite on Ivanovic.
Yes,
and then he had another bite on Chiellini, I think. So,
well, whichever one he did, that final season at Liverpool was insane. Oh, dude, talk about carrying. I think it was like he missed like 13 games and still scored like 31 goals or something like that.
Yeah,
dude was crazy.
It's nuts.
That's a good shout. That's a good shout. Who are some other really big number 7s that we're just totally glazing over?
Oh, I'm sure we are.
Heung-min Son.
Who's that? I'm sorry.
Heung-min Son for
yes,
Sonny for
Tottenham. Sonny's awesome.
Another great shout.
Somebody's screaming at us right now for their.
It's probably
club.
James too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's somebody James has in his head that he's like, this guy.
How are you forgetting this guy? Yeah, no.
Yeah,
but I can't think of anybody.
Sorry, James.
But Bex, Cantona, and then Ronaldo, and then Ronaldo again, and then Jadon Sancho at Dortmund. You know, I love Sanch.
Yeah, are you talking about the last 2 weeks?
Well, no. He's 10 now.
I know.
Okay, no. Dude, I'm behind Sanch. I'm not behind Erik ten Hag.
What? I just don't understand why everybody goes to Man U and just dies and then has
because
to go
we're
self-revive.
And we're a terrible club, and we're run terribly. And you know why? Because we're owned by Americans, and that's honestly the problem.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play hot takes, right? So basically, how this goes is I'm gonna read out some hot takes, and if you agree, raise your hand. If you disagree, keep your hand down. And then we'll just discuss from there whether we agree with them or not. So it's super easy, but it's just something different, something a little bit more chill. Okay, first hot take. And if you have a hot take, keep it in your brain because it's gonna be at the end. I have like one or two, but it'll be at the end. Okay, so our first hot take comes from our friend James over at Boot Wizard boot reviews. And I'm sure you know where I'm going with this because you know James as well. But
yeah,
he said the Nemesis Point 1, late 2020, early 2021, is one of the best boots Adidas has ever made. I'm strongly keeping my hand down.
See, I never wore them, so I can't agree with you, James. I'm sorry.
I mean, just think, okay, he said one of the best boots Adidas has ever made. And that's where he lost me. If he said it's one of the best Adidas boots, I might have kind of given it to him. Mm-hmm. But you got to think, I mean, the Predators alone, all the different Predators that you could pick, that Nemesis Point 1 ain't making anywhere near that. Okay? He said the New Balance Vizaro 1 is a better version of the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 1. Now I'm going to raise my hand.
Never tried that either. Vizaro?
Yeah, the Vizaro.
Mm-hmm.
You don't remember that? With it had the honeycomb looking upper. It came out with the Furon, and it was when New Balance took over and Warrior left, they had the Vizaro, and then they had the Furon. Big player who wore the Vizaro? Aaron Ramsey? No, not Aaron Ramsdale. Aaron Ramsey was a big Vizaro player. It was a good boot. It was honestly just a more structured and refined. Kind of Hypervenom Phantom 1. So I like it. I agree with him. I think that we'll get onto the Hypervenom Phantom 1 later. Okay, here's a good one. New Balance currently have a 2-boot main lineup, the Tequila and the Furon, where both of their boots are better than everything Nike and Adidas have on offer.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna half agree with this.
Okay.
I'm gonna say maybe not the Furon.
Okay.
Because if you the Furon's not a bad boot by any stretch of the imagination. I really like the knit on that boot. And I haven't tried the Plus, but the upper of the Furon, it's not bad. It just the materials just feel a little bit cheaper to me, and that could be just a personal preference. Don't get on me. The sole plate is on the Furon pretty much all chevron pattern. I'd like a little bit more variety there. Okay. So I'm not going to completely knock that boot. It's a great boot. But Tequila, like you just said, I know you've just started. You haven't really worn it in play. Mm-hmm. It's a great boot, man.
It is a great boot.
I would put that above Tiempo. I don't wear speed boots, so I can't really knock anything off there. I put it above. I like the new GX too, but it's just a good solid boot right now. Okay. So, for the Tequila, I would agree that it's top notch. And I think we've talked about in our boot group, or some people have brought up, if you put a Nike swoosh on the side of the Tequila V4 Pro, V4 Plus, they would be selling like hotcakes.
It would be sold out, every colorway.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that the Tequila is a phenomenal boot. I have not tried the Furon. It's one that's peaked, and I've talked with Noah about it a bit. But to me right now, even though it might be recency bias, as much as I love that Tequila, I would still pick my Predators over anything else I'm wearing. The Predator Elites.
Good pick.
Yeah. I might be, if the GX2, if I get the Luna, that might be one that could break it. If it was the GX1, that'd be a closer battle. But for me personally, the Predators right now, they're crushing it, and there's nothing that's going to change it. Okay, now we're going to go on to our friend Andrew over at Footloose Boots. He sent me, it's kind of a two-parter. He said that the New Balance Tequila V3 leather is the greatest laceless boot ever made. And he said, note, the Plus model, the V3 Plus, not the regular V3. The regular one might be one of the worst boots ever made. And then his part 2 kind of caveat was, both of these cleats are best in their respective categories. And he has the leather New Balance V3 Plus, and then he has that Under Armour Shadow. Is it the Shadow Pro?
I don't know, man. I'm not a big Under Armour guy. I did see the Shadow 2 drops this week.
Yeah, that Shadow 2 looks interesting. Looks better.
It looks like a freaking dangerous sole plate though, bro. Have you seen the sole plate on that thing?
Yes, it's the same as the Shadow 1. And this is why I'm going to keep my hand down. I would like to try that V3 Plus, especially in the leather. I was going to buy them, but Andrew actually bought them off soccer.com before I did.
Yeah.
But The sole plate on the Under Armour Shadow is literally one of the worst sole plates ever. That carbon fiber is a sticker. That's not real carbon fiber. So it's just really thin, cheap plastic with weird studs. So Andrew, I'm sorry, sir, but there is nothing that makes me want to buy the Under Armour Shadow Pro at all.
Sorry, Andrew.
I'm sorry. We love you, but we hate your.
Yeah, we do
choices.
love you, but yeah.
Okay.
Do you think? Sorry, before we move on to the next hot take, do you think going off and just Andrew brought up a good topic here? Do you think that they'll put the V4 into a leather version? New Balance will, because they haven't been one of the brands to say like we're going to shy away from kangaroo leather. They still have the 442 V2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, will they put leather on the Tequila, or are they just going to stick with what's working right now?
Mm-hmm. That's hard. I think they might, and the only reason I say I think they might is with the last generation, the V6 New Balance Furon, and then the V3 Plus, whatever they are, right? The last generation. They did. You remember when they did that all white pack, and they each silo had a different highlight color? I think that maybe that's New Balance's way of letting their generation go before they bring in something new. Okay. I know that the last Furon maybe had like a couple more leather models, and maybe the Tequila did, but maybe that's something that they're doing. But I mean, I also don't know how well those sell.
Yeah.
So it's
that's
hard.
a good point. Yeah.
But from what I mean, if New Balance, honestly, every time they wanted to get rid of their generations, if they just did that all white pack with the accent color, I think they would sell it every time. Because I've tried to find those everywhere, and I can't find any of those boots.
Yeah,
anywhere.
I had the 442s with the all white, and then it was like a really light, and I wore the heck out of those, dude. And I made a couple videos about it, but I freaking started splitting the sole plate, had to throw them away. But they were amazing.
I think that's actually when we started becoming friends.
Yeah,
I think it was around that time. I think I saw that.
I was Mr. 442 for like
and you were Mr.
months.
White Boot. Yeah, I remember you had like a ton of white boots. Well, I mean, look above you. Yeah, but I mean, like that's when I caught on because a lot of our friends like black boots. I'm not a black boot guy for the most part, but that was something that, honestly, that caught my eye was that you like boots too.
Yeah.
Okay, our friend Pedro at p.flores10. He has a couple of in his these are some spicy ones. Okay, he said the new Predator FT are slightly overrated / overhyped. Heel slippage, runs a bit small and narrow, and most importantly, the hype around them plus the quantity Adidas release is continuing to ruin the boot market. People can't even get a pair of general releases anymore, let alone a limited edition. And he said, and I did get the Predator 30, but just barely.
Yeah.
So that last point, Pedro, honestly, I'm going to have to disagree with you. But I will say that they probably are overhyped. I think I would agree as well.
I can't say anything. I haven't had them, but I will say that not on the FGs, but because I've recently been in the market for turfs.
Yes,
and I did look at the reviews for the Predator turfs, the new ones, and they are very negative. Very too long, too narrow. My foot can't fit into the shoe. Blah blah blah. So it is something that people are noting. Obviously, like that's not the FG model, but I mean Adidas. Like this is kind of what we're talking about. Like you're making something that should theoretically be very customizable. It's got the U-throat tongue. I know you haven't really had lockdown issues in the FG model, but some other people have, and that's really why I'm kind of sticking with what I know here with GX2. When mine come in, that's probably gonna be my main. So
yeah, and that's why I told you. I mean, I'm just knowing how you like your boots, and I know how your foot is. I told you to stay away from the Preds. Like even with the regular U-throat tongue, or even with the FT. I think, like I said, it's the reverse end of the GX. Like I think you need a very specific boot or foot to fill out the GX2 properly. And I think that you need a very specific foot to fit into the new Predators.
Right.
And I mean that material will stretch, but it won't stretch, and I don't think it will ever stretch enough for you to be like, oh man, Justin, these are so comfortable.
Yeah.
I think you would wear them, and I think you would eventually get to the point where you're like, yeah, I can wear them. But you're never like, oh man, I'm like so hyped.
It's just
to wear
butter.
Them.
Yeah. Agreed.
So,
what do you think about his comment on the limited editions and being difficult to find?
I think that limited editions in general are kind of getting out of hand.
Yeah.
I know that some people, like Charles, really likes having numbered limited edition pairs. Personally, I don't, because if you put a number on something, it immediately entices resellers and scalpers. So if somebody knows that something is insanely limited based on the number and that there aren't going to be any more, those people tend to go after them more. Like, I think a huge issue, the Predator 30, and a lot of it depends on how it's released. The new Predator 30 was horrible about it, and the Chrome Predator Accelerator. You remember when that one released on Pro Direct Soccer? There was a guy that made a TikTok, literally bought like 30 pairs through his Tesla and had already had them all listed on eBay for like,
oh my gosh,
more than triple what he paid. Yeah, so it's like things like that. And because that boot, it came out, it was like, hey, 998 pairs. So I think it is cool, but I think another pack that you can look at is that white women's World Cup pack that Nike kind of stealth release, where it was like all their boots and they were it only came
the gold
out,
ones. Yes.
Yeah, like they're gold.
I don't even know when the timing on those were. I didn't know what to, like. I'm pretty good about like having multiple sources for getting boots, but on that release, I was like, I don't know, dude. Like, they were certain outlets were like, hey, put like your name here, comment, whatever, and you might have a chance to like buy a pair. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't have time for that.
And that was like the thing. Like, I saw that they were all sold out through, soccer.com, whoever. And then they were on the Nike app and it said coming soon.
Yes,
you couldn't pick anything. And it didn't tell you a date. And on Facebook, a couple of Facebook groups I'm in, a couple of those guys reached out to Nike like, hey, when are these going to drop? Like, you don't have anything. Yeah. And literally people from Nike were responding. They're like, oh, we have no idea. We don't even know really what these are. And then they just deleted them.
Those were the most annoying because it wasn't anything special or different. It was just the colorway.
Yeah,
like
it was, but it had a number on it.
That bugs me more than anything. Is just okay, because if you look at something like, and I don't want to bring it up every single podcast, but if you look at something like the Montebluna, it's not numbered. It's not super limited. Like, it's just kind of coming out as a colorway. But you have changes within it where you've taken the foam out, the leather's different, it's untreated, blah, blah, blah. But that's something that, to me, is so different that I'd like to collect that pair. I'd like to have two pairs. But when you're just doing, like, changing a colorway and saying, like, 1,000 pairs, everybody have at it, like, that's, I don't know. That's just a cheap money grab, in my opinion. So.
Oh, for sure. I think there are certain instances where I understand maybe like, what are some, like a Ballon d'Or pair. Like when Ronaldo won a Ballon, certain Ballon d'Ors, he gets like a special pair that's kind of made more for him. Only he will wear that. So I get in a celebration, or same thing like with Messi and his World Cup pairs.
Yeah.
Like moments like that, I'm like, okay, I can get behind that a little more. But yeah, like you said, like, oh, hey, this women's World Cup pack is white instead of, orange, and there's no real special meaning behind it besides the number we have is how many goals were scored, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I'm like, well, what's the point of that?
Yeah, and ironically, they had those in. I know that the Vapor 16 isn't released yet, but ironically, those two of those boots were end of generation, or no, three of those boots if you count the Luna, because like you just switched out two models for GX2. You're gonna switch out the Vapor 15 this year, so it's like, here's this limited edition, and now like boom, like a month or two has gone by and they're old boots now. So even if you want, like, not that people wouldn't buy them, but now that if like you're a reseller or you're wanting to wear them, now you're a step behind. I don't know. That was a weird one. Yeah,
it's very weird. I definitely agree, but. So I think like that's what a good way to put it too. That's the kind of special edition that I think is getting out of hand. Like, hey, we just like even though it's super cool, I liked how they looked. That Thunder pair, like what was special? Or I'm sorry, the Lightning pack or whatever the heck it's called. Between the Luna and the GX, besides the color, what was different about them? Nothing. Like, that's it.
And to be honest, like, I like the Peak Ready Pack better than that purple colorway. So, no, I did.
I don't know. I really like that.
Sorry, bro.
One. No, it's okay. Honestly, but I think we talked about it too. But most of the GX colorways were all kind of hitters.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think any GX color I was like, ugh.
Yeah. I think you'd be right there. And like even that yellow, even that like highlighter neon, like grew on me
with the white. It grew on me
dude,
too.
That boot just slapped, dude. They should have given that boot like a 2-year cycle, but that's fine.
Well, we're gonna get into that. So remember that you just said that. Okay. So let's keep moving. Okay. Pedro, number 2. All Nike boots out at the moment are mid. The Legend 10 aren't good. I get why they moved away from K leather, but it's just not a Tiempo. I'm gonna raise my hand on that. The Mercurial Vapor 15 aren't good. Too narrow from someone who's worn Vapors since the Vapor 4. The air zoom bubble blows out after 2 to 3 months, and the sole plate cracks. I'm going to keep my hand down for that part because I think that these are the widest Vapors from somebody who wore the Vapor 8 and Vapor 9. These are insanely wider compared to those.
But
they're not flying it. So I know that with the 12 and the 13, these are different, but I think these are more accommodating than a lot of them. The air zoom bubble, I can't comment because I don't like Vapors and I haven't worn them. Okay. The GX one was good, minus the sole plate being too flimsy, but the 2 being mixed with the Luna, ? You almost have to get them in AG since most fields are synthetic now, and AG pairs always sell out super fast.
My brother, I just got the AG version of those.
I know. I knew that one would make you happy.
Did I write this part 2 in? Does that mean?
Yeah, you might. Did you make like an alt Hispanic boy account?
Bro, that's this guy. We're on the same wavelength here, my brother.
Yeah. He's got. Now this is the one that really resonates with me, and this is number 3. Resellers really have ruined the market. Now some sellers actually have good prices and help source you pairs, but others gouge prices like crazy, have very little knowledge of what they're selling. Again, not all resellers are like this, and are just trying to make a quick buck. I get it. It's a hustle. But man, is it annoying to see someone selling a Hypervenom 1 or a Vapor 11 you could grab for 175 to 210 a few years ago, and now they're selling them for 400 plus shipping. What on earth?
Okay, yeah, that's obviously, I mean, you can't argue with that.
No. The whole, I know what I got. I'm over it, bro. I'm over it. You know, I saw a pair of Tiempo Legend 9s today. They were it's the one we talked about, I think last week, that weird highlighter green. You think you have them in the pros?
Oh, I'm in the pros.
Okay. It was that pair.
Yeah.
Somebody had them listed for it was like 220 euros, which is like $250 for us. So it's already more expensive than what we would normally pay retail. And it said, never released to the public. Now, again, maybe it's where he lives that it was not released to the public, but Nike.com has multiple sizes on sale right now for like $195.
Yeah.
And I've been to many soccer shops that have them in every size.
Yeah.
So, again, I think this is one of those moments where people, I think I 100% have to agree. Again, I've always said I never mind if somebody's trying to get their bread, but you don't need the whole damn loaf, and you don't need to eat it at the whole damn table.
Yeah. Obviously the last point, like, totally agree. There's a certain point where I just like there's certain price points where I just will not. I don't care how much I like the boot. I don't care if somebody has like a white and orange pair of Tiempo Legend 7s, which I really want back. I'm not going to pay like over $300 for those. Do you know what I mean?
The only boot so far, I will be honest with you, the only boot that I have paid more than $300 for right now have been my Predator remakes, and that's because the retail on them I think was like $350.
Yeah.
That's the only boot that I have paid that for.
Because nothing else, even if you offered me, well, here's another piece that we just kind of talked about last week. Is,
do I have anything? I'm listening. I'm just looking at my boots.
No. Even if you offered me like a pair of like let's say like 4 years go by and somebody has a pair of like 9.5 Montebalunas for like $400,
mm-hmm.
like no, like I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I know what the durability's like.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let them just sit there on a shelf. Like I want to use my boots.
Mm-hmm. You would make Noah so proud.
Yeah, I mean that's just how I am though. That's how I operate. I'll wear my boots until they fall off.
For sure.
And I don't like to rotate. Like I really like to get comfortable in one, and then I'll eventually progress to another one. So I'm very picky. So yeah. And what's weird in the boot market is there's so much FOMO, and when like you'll buy something, and then you'll see a colorway for like 2 months out, and you're like, oh, dude, I want that. You know what I mean? And so your brain is already like spinning its wheels on being like, well, I want this one. I have this one, but I want this one. So if you're trying to throw like limited pairs out, like I don't have time for that. I'm trying to keep up with like what the regular market is trying to sell me. So I don't know. Hopefully that trend kind of dies. Because I mean, people are always willing to pay, whatever prices for what they want. But I would suggest just if there's a reseller trying to sell something that's obviously way overpriced, don't do it. Just be patient. Don't buy it.
Exactly.
Just be patient.
I love that you said that. Just be patient. Yeah, I mean, again, that's an issue that I don't even just think it's like boot related. I know a lot of people like sneakerheads are get that way, and hype beasts in general. But like, for example, okay, I have this pulled up right now on StockX. Yes, everybody, I know it's not like the most reliable data, but I'm just trying to use it as an example. Okay. When the Predator 30 came out, you remember the limited edition one in the wood box?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Predator 30. I think it was $350 when it came out retail. Okay, cool. December 8th, a pair in a men's size 8 US, which is my size, sold for $1,157. Okay? That is December 8th. And that was at 6 in the morning. 5:30 that night, another pair sold. $756. So I already think that those are both outrageous. But in 11 hours, that boot dropped $400. And then it's kind of hovered around. Then it was like on the 11th, $800. The 12th, $765. December 14th, $900. December 20th, $900. Then December 28th, so a week later, $768. Okay? Then on December 31st, $1,075. Then January 3rd, $1,026. And then on the 18th, $894. And right now, the lowest ask is in my size is $815. So I mean, look at that, dude. That's insane.
It's nuts.
In literally 11, but think about that too. Like somebody, I get it. Again, it's a hustle, but the fact that somebody is okay paying $350 and then turning around and asking over $1,000, that's and
ridiculous.
I mean, again, if you have money, it's somebody's money, so they can spend their money however they want. But again, like my whole thing is, you vote with your wallet. If you don't want people to keep being able to charge outrageous prices, stop buying things for outrageous prices. When it comes to boots, I promise you, you will find them. They will come down, and you will get a good deal.
Or just be patient, because there might be a boot you like later, like
later that you're able to get.
You were just devastated that you couldn't get the Predator 30 release. The whiteout ones that you have right now, to me, are like the ones I would absolutely. I mean, obviously, like that's my personality, but there's always so much hype. There's so much hype, especially around like the launch of a next generation boot, especially if it's something like that. But I mean, $1,000, dude, even $850 now. Like,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I love the Predator Elite. It's not a $1,000 boot. It's not an $850 boot. To me, it's not even really a $280 boot.
No,
I think boots cost too much anyways. But I digress. Again, I agree with him. I have my hand high up. I think that resellers a lot of times don't know what they have. They're selling it for outrageous prices because they want to make as much money as possible, and they have ruined people being able to buy boots.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's keep moving on. Our friend at Halt's Boots says Nike Hypervenom Phantom 1 is the most overrated boot of all time. I'm going to agree, dude.
I'm trying to think of one that would be more, but
overrated.
But Halsey might be right.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm raising my hand. We got to talk about this. That boot is awesome, and it was a cool idea, but it does not last, and it is not worth $500+ that people want for it now. I don't even really think it was worth the $250 when it came out.
No.
But it's a cool boot. Don't get me wrong, and it has pushed Nike a lot, and it did a lot. But that boot, people have the worst graduation goggles.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we spent that episode talking about was the nostalgia factor of those boots. Mm-hmm. Is really what carries that across the finish line.
Yeah, hard. That nostalgia carries that boot hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, his other one was the Nike Phantom Luna 1 was actually good on grass and had a better grip knit than the GX one.
No.
I think it was actually a very good boot, and I think that people like to hate on it without actually trying it. But I don't think that the grip knit on it is better than the GX one. I think the GX one did the grip knit better.
Yeah. What do you think about and I mean you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but the grip knit on the GX2? I know you haven't really kicked the ball on it, so you don't really know what the connection is behind it.
I juggled.
Okay.
It's literally the GX ones.
Okay.
It's the same. It's got that same weird wax feeling.
Yeah. It has a wax feeling out of the box. I expected it to stick a little bit more when I was dribbling around, but it didn't. I feel like it wasn't as intrusive, I guess, as I thought it would be. You know what I mean? I could actually get the ball off my foot. So
yeah, I will say that I'm feeling both. The lines on the GX2 Luna 2 are way more pronounced. They stick up, and they remind me a lot of. Please don't fall. They remind me a lot of this boot too, the T90 laser ones. They have that weird kind of circle shot pattern thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, even feeling my GX ones right here, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a refined. This is definitely in my opinion, it's more kind of a honed in concept than the Luna was.
Yeah, I didn't know Holtz was such a big fan of the Luna. I know he's not a huge fan of the Copa Pures, either one. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I know he hates those indoors, the React Gatos.
Yeah,
he's made that very clear to me.
Yeah.
But no, I like the Luna. I'm telling you, man. We'll save it. Just save it for now. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Keep going.
Keep moving on. Our friend at Boot Maniac, Julio, he sent me one that is very divisive. Okay, this is a hot take. Okay. He said, I think that the GX2 and Luna 2 were rushed into production and distributing as there are a lot of imperfections, extra material, extra space, as well as previous leaks about the sole plates breaking. He said, hopefully it's something that will be rectified in future colorways, but it's also possible that all these problems have arisen because they were rushed to not be behind the super hyped up Adidas Predator.
That is okay. I want to half agree with this, Julio. Yep. I'm half agree. I'm right here, dude.
I'm with him on part of it. I want to hear what you're with and what I'm with.
Okay, because time is going to tell. Time's going to tell if this is just a lot of coincidences on some of these little defects. Little defects you've experienced, defects in pictures we've seen. So maybe it was rushed a little bit. But like we were talking about earlier, they could have had the GX1 on a 2-year cycle. And they could have even done, if Nike was a little bit more like New Balance, they could have done a plus type of refresh where they did make the sole plate a little bit firmer. So I'm going to half agree with Julio there.
Have they ever done that? Has Nike ever done a mid-life where they switch something besides the graphics that you can think of? Midway through a boot's life or something, they're like, hey, we need to actually change something. Because I can't think of one.
I don't think so. I know that they changed the graphics on the Mercurials about halfway through, but that's. I mean, I don't think they've ever done anything. Yeah,
the GX1 and 2, they changed the texture, but I don't think that didn't change performance or anything on the boot to me. And technically, those are two different models.
Yeah, I'll also say, sorry, not to interrupt you, but Julio. So just because this thought just came to me, because I know last podcast we were talking about how the Vapor 16 is coming out this year, right? And I'm not sure if the GX2 was so much to compete with the Predator, because like you said, they're kind of two different boots for two different foot shapes, right? That's kind of what we've determined from those two. But I almost wonder if the Vapor 16 is going to be so popular that we've got to release this first and get all our sales out of the way for this boot before they come behind this one. But it wouldn't get people like me, just because like I'm not a huge Vapor guy. But if you're only going to spend money on like one boot, or if you need a pair, like you'll go for GX2 and then like maybe later you'll get the 16. I don't know. But what are your thoughts on that? Like the competition between those two boots?
Okay, so, between the Predator and the GX?
Yeah. His comment was they tried to rush that boot out to compete with the Predator.
I don't know about that. I think that. Okay, hold on. Let me see something real quick. I'm gonna see if we can.
Actually, was it to compete with it, or was it to get it out? Like
it said
about the same time
to rush on, not staying behind the super hype Predator 30.
Okay.
9/23. When was this one? Oh yeah, they were made around the same time. Okay, hold on. Okay, so according to the size tags, these were made back in June, between June and September, and these were made in September. It could just be the colorway because it's a special one, and you gotta take it with a grain of salt. But I actually think that, to me, the GX2 / Luna 2 is not the rushed out boot. To me, the GX1 and the Luna 1 are actually the rushed out boots. I have a feeling that Nike came out with GripKnit and wanted to make this boot, but didn't either know how to combine these materials or didn't know how to get this material the way they wanted. So that's why on the GX1s, it's a separate layer. So to me, the GX1 and the GX1 was a stopgap to get to this boot. And then I think the Luna, honestly, I don't really know what the Luna was.
Yeah, I'm not really.
It might have just been like, hey, we need another team working on this. Because, again, you can see small inspirations from the Luna into the GX2 Luna 2. But overall.
Yeah, raised elements.
I mean, yeah, like you said, I think that maybe the Luna 2 was more just design. A part of me wonders, okay, let's have this talk real quick. Do you think that the Luna 2 was originally just designed for that Women's World Cup, either the white colorway or the orange colorway, and that's really all that they were going to do?
Yes, because you and I talked about this right at the very beginning of that life cycle, and I was like, dude, is this just kind of like hype for this? Is it Nike's hype to get more people like interested in the Women's World Cup? Because and I said, I don't know if this thing's gonna last. Like I wonder if they'll do like a white colorway and they'll do an orange colorway and we'll never see it again. And I thought that's what was gonna happen. And and more or less, like they added a few more colorways.
They only did two more.
Yeah, well they did the red and the purple,
the red and the lightning. Yeah. Oh, and then the lightning. Yeah, lightning. They did the turquoise for the peak. So the ready pack, peak ready, and then the lightning.
Okay.
And I think that's why, like with the way that the lightning was, even the box. It said GX / Luna, so part of me thinks that they've always planned for that boot to be kind of like the Superfly Vapor, and I think that they had certain tech, and it's like we don't know how to get this in one, so they kind of split it, saw people's reactions, and they were like, okay, we need to definitely lean more into this way, because this boot, this boot is way more GX DNA than Luna DNA. So I will half agree, but I think that. Yeah, I do think in a way, something about the Phantom line since the GT, actually maybe even the Vision, not the Venom, but the Vision. It's like either they don't know what they want it to be all the way, or they have like partial ideas that just have to get. They're like just put it out there. Like who cares?
Yeah,
like just like the DF
People
color on the original Vision. That's like awful. That looks like a tube sock. It's like flimsy. Like,
yeah,
that was a terrible DF. So yeah, that's my take. I think that the GX1, Luna 1 were the rush boots. The GX2 was the ultimate goal. Okay. Hot take from Ricky P. Sorry, Ricky. I don't have his at on me. He says the Predator Power Swerve is garbanzo, which is garbage. And my hand is firmly down. That's one of the best Predators. And Ricky has no idea what he's talking about.
So I'll let you take that one.
It's just it's an iconic Predator. It's one of the last true Predators to me before the 30. The power element on that thing is awesomely insane. The David Beckham colorways are phenomenal, and that Climacool, I still want them to bring that Climacool back. I think that would be so cool. And it just looks good. That's a great looking boot. It performs good. It still has the blades. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about that Predator. It's just a great Predator. So,
all right.
Yeah. And then, here's a hot take. Andrew Lockhart hates the Vapor. Is it the Vapor 13? Superfly 7?
Yeah, I saw that in the comments. Yeah,
he's been blasting that boot like with a bullhorn.
Which earlier, I know we were talking about the Vapor 15, and you're saying that wasn't the most narrow one. It's actually pretty accommodating. I didn't try the 13, but I heard the 13 was like the most accommodating one. So I'm not sure if like the 13 and the 15 kind of align in that area, but
I think a lot of people like the 13. To me, the 13 and with the fly knit, that's one of those ones that I think people will look back and it's kind of going to be like the Hyperfin Phantom 1 for a lot of people. Like, I should have kept those. I should have kept more of those. It's going to be like a grail boot for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, here's another one from James. I like thin socks. So the thinner they are, the better. And he's talking about grip socks.
Yeah.
I have my hand down. I hate thin socks, especially thin grip socks, because I get blisters on my big toes, and thin socks make that even worse.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm in the middle of the road here. Like, I really don't like some socks, some grip socks, like on the tops, they'll do like, instead of having like a traditional like sock structure, they'll like do a lot of like holes and make that part really thin. And like, it's never really bothered me. Honestly, like grip socks, like thick, thin, whatever. I'm more on like the side of like true socks where I want those grip elements going up the heel. And that's all I really care about.
Yeah. You like, always come back to that heel lockdown. Like, dude, anything else
it's the most important
totally
thing.
Dismissible to you besides the heel lockdown.
And I mean, okay, so like, let's say if it's a boot that is a little bit big, like you'd probably want a little bit thicker socks. Like if it's, I don't know, socks, like I've never thought about it.
Okay, that's fair. Some people don't. Like I have buddies who wear the most blown out, stretched out, old socks, and they don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, our friend Proper Boots with a Z said, hot take, the Adidas Addy Power is the greatest Predator of all time.
Again, I'll let you take that one.
Firmly disagree. Predator Mania, Predator Accelerator for some people.
Edge.
Ooh.
I'm just kidding.
Not the Edge. It's not one of the best. It's a great movie. It's not one of the best.
Yeah, it's not one of the best.
There's a lot. Pulse, absolutely. I mean, I like a lot of Predators, but unfortunately, I do not agree that the Addy Power. J Mike is a big Addy Power guy. That's one of his favorite Predators. So, Proper Boots, maybe go talk to J Mike. But if it doesn't have a fold over tongue, it's probably not one of my favorite Predators of all time.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that's the last hot take from them. Do you have any hot takes, Colby? Because we disagreed, I feel like, with a lot of people.
I've been thinking about what my hot take would be, just overall. My hot take is they should have ended the Tiempo at the Tiempo Legend 9 and called the Tiempo 10 something else. Like just any whatever you want to call it, just end it with that boot and just let that name die with my past.
Do you think that if the Tiempo 10 was called the CTR 364, okay, it's been a long time since the CTR line has been around,
right?
But if they were like, hey guys, Tiempo 9's done, this is the CTR 364, do you think that people A, would care, or B, do you think that would have helped the hype of that boot at all?
I think it would have helped the hype.
Really?
I do. Mm-hmm.
I don't.
You don't think so?
I don't think that name really has any weight.
Well, see, they wouldn't have. it's kind of like with video games where they haven't come out with like a full like they started to get away from numbers and they would just call it like this, right? Mm-hmm. So they would probably have said like the CTR, I don't know, some random like name that they put out in a corporate meeting that everybody, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or they would have called it just a completely different name in general. But to me, it's like I guess to get guys like old school guys who really like their leather just to try it, you know, like me, because I did try it. Mm-hmm. They kept the name. It's something different, but they kept the name, and maybe that's helping sales. I don't know. Why do you think people, just because it's been such a long time since the CTR?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that most people don't know what the CTR is, or they don't care. I don't think that boot does enough to. The only reason, I just don't think they like. I think that okay, for example, if they came out with this boot and said, "Hey guys, this is the new T90 Laser 5," I don't think people would care. I think most people would be like, "Where are the other lasers? What is that?"
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean? That's where they go away from numbers. When it's been too long from something, they'll go away from numbers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something that they've done, like even in movies, where it wasn't called Top Gun 2. It's called Top Gun Maverick. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of like that.
But see, the problem that they can't do that though is because of their other boots have numbers and names. Yeah. So you can't. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like I think you're right. They might just. I mean, maybe they would just call it like the Nike CTR, or some other midfield word like Metzala for a position or something. But I don't think that the name CTR 360. I don't think it bears enough weight for people to care.
Yeah. Yeah. Just slap an ultimate after it. The Puma King Ultimate.
Ooh, the Ultimate. And like, people even say it's one of the worst Puma Kings. It's not the Ultimate Puma King. It's one of the worst ones.
Yeah, it's not horrible. It does have a very, very shallow heel. Shallow heel.
Yes, it does have a shallow heel. Okay. My hot take. It's a two-parter, but the Phantom Luna 1, the Nike Phantom Luna 1, and the Predator Edge Plus 0.1, whatever, are not that bad of boots. I think people just like to hate on them because some of the bigger names don't like them.
I half agree with you. I'm half agreeing a lot.
Have you worn the Did you ever try the Edge?
I never tried the Edge. And the Luna I couldn't fit in. So like the Luna, like personally wasn't a fan of.
Okay.
But again, I didn't go that half size up like you did and try it out. I just tried like the fit to my foot. But what I'm agreeing with you on is if a bigger name doesn't like a boot, I think it kind of puts everybody like at a baseline level of what their expectations are when they get a boot.
Yep.
Like if J Mike says like, these are my problems with it, and like I don't like this, and this, and then you go into it expecting that when you get the boot, and you already are thinking it has these flaws because you haven't exactly tried it yourself. If we all tried boots for ourselves without getting a review, I mean, we need reviews. We really do.
For sure.
Saves us a lot of headache
and money.
But I think if we weren't influenced by bigger names before we tried something, we'd probably like a lot more variety. And so with that, I do really agree with you on that point.
Like, I'm not saying, I never have said that the Edge is like a perfect boot, but I definitely think that it has a worse rap. And I'm not trying to call out like J Mike or Josh or Noah or anybody like that. Like, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that like if people actually like tried the Edge, I think more people would probably like it and think like it has its quirks, but I don't think that they would absolutely like rag on it and shit on it like they do. Because most people, again, will shit on the Luna or shit on the Edge, and they've never even put them on their foot. Mm-hmm. So that's my hot take.
Yeah, definitely understandable. And that was a very bold move because the Edge looks like no other. I mean, I know we've got like the Freak, but like it really doesn't.
It's basically the LZ3. If you look at like the LZs, like the original LZs, and then you look at the Edge, like you can see where the inspiration came from, and I think that's why they did those colorways.
Yeah,
as an homage. But but that's it, man. That's it for my hot takes. Nobody sent me anything else, unless you got another one.
Those are really good takes. I mean, like it's like a lot of those I had some agreement with, but then it's like, oh, it's just like everything was like just one. I mean, it's got to be a hot take, but it's almost like one step too far. It's like, I'm with you.
Sure. It's when they do like the all time or the absolute best. It's like, no, it's great, but it's not the best.
Right. Or like these two are above everything. And it's like, I think one of these is above quite a few, so yeah. Yeah. Good takes though, dude. Good takes.
Yeah, people did good. If you want to send hot takes, you can send me a message at Texas Cleat Collector on Instagram, where you can find me, or you can send them to at BootcastPod. Colby.
Yeah.
Let the people know
we could
where
make
they can
that
find
into
you.
like a weekly segment, dude. No, we really could. Yeah, keep sending us your hot takes. We'll read them out. You can find me at Kicking It with Colbs on Instagram and on YouTube.
Nice. Let's see. So it's Friday. We'll come back next week. We'll figure out something interesting to talk about. If you guys have anything interesting you want us to talk about, let us know in the comments below. Be sure, and while you're letting us know in the comments, make sure you hit that like button, share that button, subscribe. That would help. We're trying to just be regular guys and give you guys real reviews, and that's what we want to keep doing. And you guys have helped us. So,
we appreciate you guys.
I will say good night. You guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you next week.
All right. See you guys. Thank y'all.
Later.